On the fourth day, when I had to sign the employment contract, something unexpected happened. The boss changed his mind and told me he wasn't hiring me anymore. I left crying. It was a deep disappointment for me. I felt that I had not done something right, but in fact, this happened because in this video, I will tell you how I became a graphic designer and how you can become one too, how long it takes to become a graphic designer, and where you can find out what salaries are given for this position. But first, let's see what graphic design means. According to Wikipedia, a graphic designer is a professional within the graphic design and graphic arts industry who assembles together images, typography or motion graphics to create a piece of design. A graphic designer creates the graphics primarily for published, printed or electronic media such as brochures and advertising. In 2014, after graduating from college, I wanted to get hired. At the time, I had no idea what a graphic designer was doing. I hadn't even heard of that term, even though I graduated from the marketing faculty. I went to college in a different city than the one I was born in. So then I had two options. Either I was returning to my hometown, or I was trying to get a job in the city where I graduated. The biggest obstacles were that I had never worked before and had no work experience. Not to mention that I had little money and had to hire quickly, otherwise I would return to my hometown back to my parents. So after applying for several positions, from sales agent to call center operator, I finally got a job as a marketing specialist. During the working trial, things did not go as I expected. Although I had finished this specialization, the boss of that company had completely different expectation from me. However, after the 3-day trial, the employer told me that he was hiring me, and I even negotiated the salary. All this time, there was another employee I kept in touch with. Despite he was a jack of all trades, at one point he told me he also was a graphic designer. Since I didn't know what a graphic designer was, I was able to see in those days what that guy was working on. That's how I realized I wanted to be a graphic designer too. On the fourth day, when I had to sign the employment contract, something unexpected happened. The boss changed his mind and told me he wasn't hiring me anymore. I left crying. It was a deep disappointment for me. I felt that I had not done something right, but in fact, this happened because the boss expectations were very high and I couldn't cope. Eventually, I returned to my parents' home, and for about a year or two, I learned graphic design on my own. I learned Photoshop and the basic rules of graphic design very well. Then I found out about a job advertisement for a newspaper as a technical editor. I applied with my CV, I gave a work test, and I was hired. I stayed here for 3 years, during which time I honed my graphic designer skills by making web banners for the newspaper's website and advertising layouts for the printed edition of the newspaper. After 3 years, I left the newspaper and became a freelance in graphic design. So, in the end, I fulfilled my dream of becoming a graphic designer, and I did it without a bachelor's degree in design. Now, I want to tell you how you can become a successful graphic designer too. 1. Learn, apply, and repeat. You can't become a successful graphic designer if you don't apply what you learn. Read design books and articles, consume videos from YouTube, or even buy courses if you can afford them. Leave me a comment and tell me if you want me to make a video with which design channels on YouTube I watch. 2. Be curious. Be like a sponge and absorb all the information from those who give you design advice, whether they are mentors on the internet or in real life. 3. Don't give up. Never. Don't give up. You may have heard this before and it sounds like a cliche, but if you give up, it's clear you can't become a graphic designer. Can you become a graphic designer if you don't go to the design school? Sure, you do. Although design school can help you get hired more easily in some positions, it is not necessary to do such a college to become a graphic designer. I and many others are proof that we manage to do this job without a degree in design. Instead, consider learning the basic rules in graphic design, such as hierarchy, color, type, contrast, balance, and so on, and apply them in every design you make. Now, maybe you're asking, what salaries do graphic designers get? I don't have a fixed answer for this, but salaries vary greatly from one geographical area to another and depending on the level of experience. You can check on Glassdoor.com the salaries depending on the area where you live and the experience you have. In conclusion, you can become a graphic designer no matter where you live. All you need is an internet connection and a passion for graphic design. You can become a graphic designer in a few months, but it will take you several years to get good at it. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more videos about design.